Hello everybody, so let's discuss the clit. Here is your anatomy lesson, your sex ed education you should have received in high school. So the clitoris is going to be sensitive. As you can see from the question that I posted earlier today, it's meant to be sensitive. So let's talk about why it is so sensitive. The clitoris is full of 10,000 nerve endings. Yes, 10,000. When we compare that to the head of a penis in a guy, there's 4,000 nerve endings in the head of a penis versus 10,000 nerve endings in the clitoris. So the clitoris is going to be super sensitive. Now the clitoris is literally a female penis because in utero, when it is decided what your anatomy is, your body either turns into a penis or a clitoris. They're composed of the exact same materials. With that, the clitoris has the ability to engorge or enlarge, aka get hard. Once again, it's made of the same tissue as the penis. So during foreplay, the size of your clitoris will definitely change. It will start out as its normal size, meaning its unaroused size, and then it will gradually get bigger as you get aroused. Typically, it takes 20 to 40 minutes. Of foreplay in order to get the clitoris fully enlarged and engorged. The size of the clitoris varies for person to person. There is no one set size that you see. It actually can be tiny or as large as a baby gherkin's pickle. So if your clitoris is a little bit larger than what you're seeing in TV or on medical things, it's okay. So let's discuss the anatomy of the clitoris because a lot of women think that what they see either between their lips or protruding from your lips, because depending on your clit, some can be kind of tucked behind, some can be protruding. A lot of people think that little nub, that button, is your clit. No, that's actually your clitoral hood. Your clit is actually quite large. As you can see from the photo here, your clitoris actually goes down the sides of your labia. I think it kind of looks like a shape of a wishbone. Your clitoris can be anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5 inches long and 2.5 inches wide. So what you're actually seeing on the outside, once again, is not your full clit. That little button or nub is just the clitoral hood. That's why not only does your clit get sensitive where the clitoral hood gets sensitive, it gets sensitive all the way down your vulva. The clitoris serves no other purpose except for pure fucking pleasure. How amazing is that? How incredibly powerful is that? That you have a body part that literally is just designated to feel unbridled, raw pleasure. On average, between 85 to 90% of women can actually have an orgasm via clitoral stimulation, which is a much higher statistic than penetration. On average, only 18 to 20% of women can have an orgasm via penetration. Yes, it is that tiny. So that's why it is so important to understand, acknowledge, embrace, and play with the clit of your partner, because if your partner cannot get off via penetration, you're going to need to add, there we go, clit stimulation in order for her to achieve climactic state. There we go. So now that you know a little bit more about the anatomy, you can understand why for your female partner or your partner with a clitoris, it is going to be super sensitive. Not only the clitoral hood, but all the way down her labia will be sensitive because that's how large the clit is. So sensitivity doesn't necessarily mean something bad either. This is why practicing breathing during your climactic state is so important. One of the reasons is because when we feel sensitivity, when we get to a heightened state of arousal, what happens? Our breathing starts going, and then all of a sudden, we almost cause ourselves to hyperventilate because the pleasure that we're feeling is so raw and carnal and just real. So my biggest piece of advice is if you are struggling to achieve an orgasm via clit stimulation because you feel like you're super duper sensitive, while you are practicing or performing that stimulation, practice your breathing. When you start noticing your breathing going, take a second and just literally chill. Start breathing through your nose, and in through your nose, out through your nose, like. If you have to exhale out of your mouth, that's okay too. It's more about just slowing your body down and engaging the release. Because if your body thinks it's in like this hyper state of like fight or flight, or like, oh my God, this feels unsafe, then your body's going to prevent itself from climaxing. So if you want to climax, you have to regulate your body and your nervous system in order to believe that you are safe in this environment. So that means regulating your breathing. So taking deep breathing, deep inhales while you are getting close is going to help you tip over. The more you stimulate the clitoris, the more sensitive it's going to be, especially after post-orgasm. That is, especially if it's a clitoral driven orgasm, that is when your clit is going to be so sensitive that it's almost like if someone touches you. And I've had people message me like during this, like, my partner won't let me touch her. Yeah, because it's so unbelievably sensitive that it feels like if there is a touch or a blow of the wind, you are going to explode. And that is not a bad thing, right? The more orgasms you experience via clit stimulation, the more sensitive your clit is going to get, but the more intense your orgasms are going to get as well, and probably more frequently. Typically, when we're talking about clit orgasms, it may take a little bit to warm up the first orgasm that you have via clit stimulation, but if you keep going, they start coming faster and faster, and they're more intense and they're more intense. The aspect of this that you need to practice is just recognizing that you are safe and feeling it, and that sensitivity isn't necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, if it is too much, you want to be able to take breaks and communicate that to your partner. If this is happening during oral, or they're holding the toy, or any type of foreplay situation, if it gets too intense where you feel like you are about to die, obviously slow down, take a few breaths, don't touch the area. But that sensitivity is not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing. But I can understand where people get freaked out. But this is also why we have to regulate our nervous system for us to believe that we are in a safe state. Because when you feel immense pleasure, it is a almost scary thing. And having the security within yourself to continue to do what you do is also kind of scary. Now, if you are with a partner and she is starting to experience, or they are starting to experience this clitoral orgasm, and they ask you to back off, respect their wishes. They know their body better than you do, but also let them know, hey babe, if you want to continue, I'm here and you're safe. You're absolutely safe in exploring this. Just tell me when to stop, tell me when to pause, coach me through it, guide me through it. It's completely normal that you're feeling it, and it's completely safe. And this is because female pleasure has become this taboo subject where women fear their own capabilities of their body and what it can produce. But let me tell you, ladies, when you explore your body and you actually unlock the pleasure that can be produced from a multi-clitoral orgasm, it is like you unleash this whole new confidence level within yourself on so many levels. It is like you all of a sudden, in a way, recognize your own self-worth, because you recognize how fucking incredible of a being that you are to be able to produce that style of orgasm multiple times and to feel that level of pleasure. You feel connected to your body, you feel connected to yourself, and it gives you this, no one can fuck with me, because it is a privilege for anybody to see me come that way. It is this feral, beautiful kind of self-realization moment when you feel safe enough to bring yourself to the utmost pleasure that you have ever received, whether this is with solo play or partner play. A lot of times it's with solo play, because once again, that's when women feel the safest with themselves. But it is unlocking a whole new level of yourself. So don't be afraid to explore that, and just to constantly let yourself know that you're safe in doing so. Getting back to struggling achieving a clitoral orgasm. So a lot of times if you're struggling to achieve it, it's a mental block more than it is a physical block. It can be a physical block because you do feel super sensitive, but once again, that sensitivity is safe and that sensitivity is okay. And if you, I don't want to say push through, but embrace that sensitivity and continue what you're doing, it's going to feel really good. But also there's a lot of mental blocks that can come up when you are trying to achieve an orgasm, and that mental block can literally be anything that's happened throughout the day. You can have a disruptive thought that pulls you out of it. The best thing to do is try to clear your mind through masturbation. What I mean by that is, what's really great about masturbation and what's really great about self-pleasure is it allows you the capability to explore your pleasure from a safe and secure place, but also to clear your head. Because as women, we have, our brains are on fucking hyperdrive all of the fucking time. We have the weight of the world on our shoulder, all of the issues of the world on our shoulder, and we're killing it and we're getting through every single moment of it. But we don't ever have a time to just be with ourselves and let our brains clear. And sometimes partner play sex cannot do that for some women, because during partner play sex, you're paying attention to someone else. The dynamics are a little different. So if you were nervous during partner play where you were like, I can't achieve an orgasm via like clit stimulation during partner play, bring it back to masturbation. I will praise and talk about masturbation and self-pleasure until I am blue in the fucking face, because I feel it's so utterly important in order for you to have a better sex life. Because once you recognize what your body is capable of and how to do it, you can communicate that to your partner and bring it to a partner session. And you said something about like cutting short, like the orgasm feels like it gets cut short, or it's shorter than it should be. Well, that could be because it's the first one you're experiencing. The duration changes from clit orgasms. Orgasms in general can be as small as like 10 seconds up to like a minute and a half to 2 minutes, depending on the style of orgasm, depending on the person, depending on, once again, whether they feel safe in that moment. If you're feeling like your clit orgasm is being cut short, it could just be you're having a shorter clit orgasm. Continue to play and stimulate the area, and the next one may be a little bit longer. This is going to vary depending on person to person, but typically they will vary in length no matter what style orgasm you have. If you feel like it's also cutting short, it could be that you are starting to reach that climactic state, you're going over the hill, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, it's happening, and you fucking hyper focus on what is going on, which is you achieving the orgasm, and you may be mentally like cutting yourself off as well. So when you are about to go over that hill, right, it's about breathing. It's about relaxing. It's about recognizing that this pleasure is allowed and you should be feeling it. And it's feeling the pleasure, not psychoanalyzing the pleasure or not putting logic to it. It is literally just sinking into your body and feeling how good it feels to be in that moment. And if the orgasm is cut a little short, then continue to focus on how good it feels to touch yourself and or to be touched, and just continue on, and hopefully the next orgasm will be a little bit larger.